at Traders Help Desk, and I just wanted to show you actual divergence with the lines drawn. I've created two different stochastics that has the hidden divergence and the regular divergence. So in this case, the bottom one actually identifies typical divergence, and the white is the bullish divergence. We should get a line here that would identify the potential divergence here. Now this will not plot until the stochastic starts to come down. So right now this is a potential for me. Now you can also see the top one with the dotted yellow lines actually identifies the hidden divergence. Blue would be bearish, red would be bullish. So in this case, you can see on the 60-minute chart, it was making higher lows, but the stochastics went lower. Notice the pattern here. That's the most important thing for you to watch. This is going up, this is coming down. On this case, where we had the bullish hidden divergence, you can see that price was coming down, this was coming up. You can also see that right after the hidden divergence here, you had a bullish, typical bullish divergence. That meant that this hidden divergence was already played out and you're going to start going up, which of course it immediately did. Now this will pick it up what I consider a little bit late. I'll try to teach everybody to pick this up as the bar is forming. So in this case, we have a potential for bearish divergence because you're making higher highs in price but lower highs on the stochastics. That's very important to distinguish the two. Now you can also pull in a 15-minute, and you can see at the same time that we had this bearish divergence on the 60-minute, you also had the same, I said bearish, I meant bullish. You can also see the same time that we had this bullish divergence, which means that price was making higher lows, but the stochastics was making lower lows. We also had it over here on the 15-minute. These are great entry points into that divergence pattern. And of course, it very well played out whether you were trading a binary option, future contract, or the spot forex. Doesn't really matter which instrument you were using to trade that. It was a nice trade either way. Okay, as you can see, the yellow line just plotted here, that is confirming that you just had bearish divergence on the highs here. So again, you're making higher highs but lower highs in the stochastics. You can also see that the ADX is now magenta in color. What does that mean? It means it's going to retrace back to this ATR, very similar to what it did over here at this ATR. Now when you got this divergence here, you can also see that once it reaches the ATR, which is this plus sign, that more likely than not it's going to go back and exceed this previous high, which was at 1535. And you can see it did that, moved slightly above it. Again, you can see you had a magenta dot here. That's what we call the magenta peak. It comes back to this ATR. In this case, I actually think it will exceed this ATR because of the 60-minute chart. This is just a brief explanation of how the divergences help us read the indicators or anticipate where price will go.